And and then guys, just you want to make sure that you can execute your presentation professionally. Because if you're in Miss Johnson's house, unsure of what to say, unsure of the flow, like why would she want to buy from you if you're just figuring it out, if you're just winging it? So the good thing is we have written out all the scripts. We have videos that you can watch and go over the script together and really get it down. And we're here to help you kind of tighten up the end of the presentation, which guys, this is, we're to the end. We're literally got the policy review. We've done an in and up. We know what carrier that your manager has told you. They've already went over everything in the value sheet, but this is where hang up the phone. We're with the client, next to the client. Brandon, like after you get off that phone, what's your go-to? Like what's next?
So I mean, next I'll just kind of start filling them out. So you know what company you're going with at that point. So really the big key here is to find out what their price point is. What are they going to buy? What's going to be too expensive? What's not going to be, what's going to be too cheap? If you're doing a replacement, you kind of know where your number already needs to be. But, let's say you're not doing.
Let's say this, they don't have insurance. Carter just said, hey, Mutual of Omaha, they're 65, just lost their insurance through work. Like when do you do the three types of people or three reasons why people buy insurance? Is it before or is it kind of now?
I would have already done it before. I would have done it at the end of my presentation. Like I teach all my people, like one of two things are going to happen at the end of your presentation. They're either going to have life insurance or they're not going to have life insurance. If they don't have life insurance, hey, why do you want it? People get life insurance for a few reasons. It's usually either cover their final expenses, leave a gift behind, or cover debt. What's your main reason for your life insurance? And that way I know, okay, perfect. I got a specialist on the line. I'm going to give them a call. I already kind of know the reason as to why they want it at that point. But you got to remember that so we could go back again and I'll re-clarify. So, if at the end of it, once we got the recommendation, say we're going mutual home, I'll be like, okay, so just to clarify, you wanted this just to cover your final expenses. Now you were planning on being buried, right? Well, you definitely need life insurance then, because they're really expensive. Now, were you planning on leaving a gift behind it all, or did you just want it to cover final expenses? Because if they
So
just
yeah,
wanted to cover.
Brandon's asking a bunch of questions. He's doing like fact finding. I think step seven should be question or fact finding and then build value. And then so you're finding out, hey, what do you want the life insurance for? So you're asking that question. You're asking, but when do you budget? So is that kind of your next go-to?
What'd you say?
So you're asking questions on why they filled the card out, what they're looking for, and getting into burial cremation. So that you're kind of thinking like, hey, do I need to start this at 5,000? Or if they want burial and they're maybe only 55, maybe we're up towards 15,000. So you're kind of diagnosing, hey, when I show them these three rates, I want to be in their ball. Like I don't want to show them 35 and 40 if they're telling me cremation or they're on a really tight budget. So guys, this is where we're like using some, situational awareness. You're not just throwing out numbers to try to get a sale. Listen to the client. We want to provide customer specific value. And that's what Brandon's doing by asking the questions.
So this is the part also where it can get kind of tricky too, because everybody wants 25, 30,000, but not everybody can afford that. So, my next thing's going to be now, Miss Johnson, I truly like to help people, and it's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help me, if I leave here with a bill that you can't afford. The only person in that case is that's going to win is the insurance company. And I don't know about you, but I don't ever like to let them win, right? Yeah, right, right. So at this point, I've already quoted it. So I already know kind of what around 10,000 is going to be, what they want. Now I'm going to say, Ms. Johnson, I ask everybody this, what's more important to you, budget or coverage? So, what I mean by that is, I want $20,000. I don't care how much it costs, or I kind of need to stay within this range of money each month. And at this point, I've already quoted. I know what about around what they want to be buried. So I'm looking up 10, 15,000. I know about what it's going to cost. We're going to say it's going to be $80 a month if they got the 10K, right? So I'm going to say the most everybody's going to tell you budget. Every person, it's rare. Some people will be like coverage. It's very rare. Most of them be like, I need to stay within that budget. Okay, Miss Johnson. So, let's say Let's say $95 a month. Does that sound like too much, too little? Is that affordable for you? And their face is going to tell you. They're either going to be like, yeah, that sounds about right, like what I was wanting, or either it's going to be, I don't know if I can do that. And in that case, I know they want 10,000, but they might not be able to afford 10,000. So my
Yeah.
next thing after that is I know about what they want. My next thing is going to be, okay, Miss Johnson, would you agree with me in saying a little bit of something's better than a whole lot of nothing? So what I mean by that is, let's say you could only afford $5,000. Would $5,000 help your family out more than nothing? So I'm
And what
prepping them for what I think they're going to be able to get.
And what he's doing there, guys, it's like in Sun Tzu's Art of War. You never want to surround your enemy and not give them a way out. So that's why we're asking, hey, are you looking for a specific amount of coverage? I know you want to cover your burial. So maybe like you want to look up maybe 10, 15, and 20,000. Is that somewhere in your range you're looking? Or are you trying to stay within a budget? If you're like me, I'm a budget guy. When I go buy something, I already know what I want to pay for it. So I got $50 a month that I can allocate. Are you kind of the looking for a specific coverage? Or are you looking to stay in, guys? That a way out. Okay. We're not going to let them out, but whichever way they are running towards, we already got flanked, just ready to ambush, back them into a corner because that's when somebody gets defensive. And you don't want them defensive because you want to keep that conversation going in one of the two directions that you already know it's going to go, but you're going to guide them in one of those two directions. So that's what Brandon's doing. I'm sure, Carter, you probably do it the same exact way. Do you do it any differently? Do you have anything to add to that? Based on your facial expression, you look like you're frozen. So there you are.
Yeah, sorry, I was doing dishes. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, that's my favorite close, and I'm very. I heard Nick Goichai say it a while ago on one of his Zooms. Hey, you guys have to be saying it exactly that way. And I use a lot of body language. I use a lot of like emotions in my face and like just like a lot of cues. Like, hey, usually people are trying to do one of two things, Miss Johnson. They're either trying to stay within a budget. Hey, I can only afford 50, 100, $200 a month, or I'm trying to hit a certain amount of coverage and I'm holding my hand way up here. I don't care how much it costs. I need 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, whatever the number may be. What were you trying to do, Miss Johnson? Are you trying to stay in a budget? Or are you trying to hit a certain amount of coverage? Most people that are on fixed incomes are typically trying to stay within a certain amount every month. What's going to be the most, manageable for you? What's going to make the most amount of sense? And then everything else, that Roman said pretty much almost verbatim.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
when I
I
first,
think
not to interrupt, when I first came on, and Max came to Dallas to field train me, verbatim, Max would go, "This is what you want, this is what you need, this is what you can afford." Miss Johnson, at the end of the day, you know, this has to fit within your budget every single month. If you can't afford to pay it every single month, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help anybody. You know, give them some options, right? But then at the end, you can always throw out the anchor. Miss Johnson, listen, here's the thing. If you said, hey, Pierce, I can only spend $50 a month, not a penny more, not a penny less, I can make it exactly $50. What is that number for you, Miss Johnson?
yeah,
At the very end, you can throw out the anchor.
Yeah, we're all asking budget. And I'm a little different than Brandon because after the in and up, that's when I like to tie it all back in by saying, hey, Miss Johnson, people take out insurance for three main reasons. Number one is to cover final expense. At the end of the day, as a father, as a husband, I don't want to be a burden on my family. Nobody wants to be a financial burden. Heaven forbid something happens to you. So most people are wanting to cover that burial, cremation, final expense. Now, some people like to leave a gift behind, maybe a legacy, maybe buy something for the grandkids, put them through school, buy them a vehicle, whatnot. And then other people got some debt they need to cover, whether it be credit card bills, hospital, mortgage. Miss Johnson, when you sent that card back, what was on your mind? Was it mostly for final expense or a combination between all three? Then they're going to tell me what they wanted the insurance for, how they filled it out. So it brings it full circle as to why you're sitting in their living room. And then that's going to start the dialogue on the same exact questions that I asked, that Brandon and Carter asked, which is for, and then budget. And I always ask what you want it for, burial, leave a little extra. Okay, would you like to look at 10, 15, 20,000? Are you looking at a specific amount per month that you can allocate? And I say the same thing. Look, this is not month insurance, not your insurance. This is life insurance. If you can't afford it every month the rest of your life, guess who's going to win? It's the insurance company, and they've built enough stadiums named after them. They don't need no more money, Ms. Johnson. I want to make sure your family gets this. So what is that number that's not going to take food off your table? It's not going to take gas out of your car. What's that number that's comfortable every month for the rest of your life? And then they're going to tell you whether they're looking for a specific amount of coverage or they're a budget. But if they tell me budget and 95% of people are about that budget, you know, it's dollars a month. I'm like, Ms. Johnson, I know your main thing was the final expense, the burial. Listen, if I can find something that's going to cover that for you and going to be under your $50 a month, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to protect Annabelle here today? And if they say no, you're getting the app because they have sold themselves as to if you can get this for me, Brandon, I have per month. There's no other reason why I wouldn't do it. Okay.
Hey, BDunn.
Now, go ahead.
I wanted to add something on that. So I do mine that exact same way. Sorry, I wasn't fully listening to Romans earlier, but that exact same way. And the reason why I do it in that exact order is because, and I was preaching this, I think last week, you know, once you ask those 3 questions and they give you an answer, you're assuming, first of all, the entire way. Once they give you an answer, they're buying in. They're buying in emotionally. They're telling you exactly why they need it. And then when you ask the budget question or the amount of coverage, they're telling you how they're going to do it. You know, so at this point, they're already bought in. At this point, you're assuming the sale the rest of the way. So, I mean, it's their job to stop you. It's your job to keep going. If they stop you, you know, read go for no. Like they're going to stop you if something, you know, doesn't feel right or they're not comfortable with doing something. And then you cross that, you know, objection, that you cross that obstacle once you get there, and then you move past it and keep going. So as soon as they give me that budget, that number, that's the lowest. That's option C. I'm pulling up the value sheets. As soon as they say, hey, that 50, that 100, whatever that number is, I'm pulling up that value sheet. I'm pulling out my quoter and I'm putting that as option C. So like Romans was saying earlier, you know, he was saying, you know, if they're already paying a certain amount, I still ask those questions because they might want to add on, or what they're paying currently is too much for them. So like, you know, I've ran into so many sales where people are paying way too much for their insurance, and I lower their bill and I lower their coverage amount because they're overinsured. So always ask those questions, especially in that order, because, you know, then that's when you know how you're going to do or how you're going to set up the value sheet.
Yeah, same thing, man. I mean, we're all saying the same exact thing. And that's when I go to the value sheet that all you guys are going to have on your tablet. And then they already forgot about that whole conversation except for what company. And then I bring the company up, I'm zooming in, I'm showing the company, and then I'm re-going over all the points that the guy hit on the in and up, whoever your manager was, in and up. I'm going the points, and I'm like Brandon, like when I'm getting the in and up, I'm over here options usually. Sometimes you got to erase them. They're a little off on what they want it for. Do it right now, where, you know, don't let them look at you, and then when you zoom in, don't show them the rates, just show them this side, don't show them that side, because they're going to be focused on that, doing math in their head. Show them all the value, don't let them see the rates. Okay, run through the whole thing again, because they probably forgot, and this is where the end of, which is building up that value before we show the price. So I'm hitting all these bullet points, I'm zooming out, and I say, Miss Johnson, I know your family's worth all 3 of these. I know that this one down here is what exactly you said you want, but I just wanted to show you, you know, if qualified, you do have the option to do either one of these. So option A, option B, option C, which one's going to work best for you? And then I'd be quiet. Brandon, do it differently.
No, pretty much the exact same way, man. You know, at the end, immediate tax-free money to the beneficiary, play on those emotions, you know, who's your beneficiary going to be? I mean, your daughter, Jennifer, you know, I know Jennifer's worth all these options, but you got to do what's best for you. Which one of these will work best for you if I can get you approved? Let them pick it. Don't speak. Circle it. Go straight to the app. You got your driver's license and look down. Same
So
thing.
guys, what objections are y'all getting right here? Because if you do a really good step 7, step 8's really quick, and then you should be doing the app. But what are y'all hearing right here?
I
I gotta
mean,
think about it.
Go ahead. I need to talk to my next month. Ryder said next month. Brandon, yeah, I mean a little, but can you come back next month?
yeah, yeah, absolutely, sir. I definitely could come back next month. But the company, if I come back next month, do you have a doctor's appointment between now and then? Sure you do. The thing is, if I leave here today, and something happens, man, it takes one diagnosis, one prescription. I come back here, I might not even be able to get you approved for this. But today, I'm pretty sure that I can get you approved. So the company actually has something in place. I can go ahead and get you approved here today. We can push that payment out till next month. All the companies we work with are backed by the state, so they'll line it up with your Social Security for you. You don't even have to make that payment today. We got you approved. And then that way you don't have to worry about anything that happens from today on.
Okay, so that's a good one. And if somebody says next, like, hey, Brandon, we can do it whenever. But just curious, I know you said that you're looking for the burial and your budget's under 50. I got option C, it's 10,000 for, $9 a month, plus you get that accidental. I know you said you want to think about it, but are you thinking about one of these three options? You want to get more, or if you were going to pick one, which one would you want to get? So I feel like when he already told me he was looking for, like, hey man, were you just maybe trying to fit one other one in your butt? I'm very curious, and I have a curious look on my face because this guy just freaking told me what he wanted. If I get it under budget, I'll get it. How's he going to say, like, I need to think about it? I'm like, which one are you in between? And I'm really curious asking him because there's really no way out. And what's another one? Next month we said that I got to think about it. I got to think about it. Leave a card, and I'll leave you a card when we're done. Which one of these is going to work best for you? Dude, I just throw this shit in these people's face. Like, if they don't like it, they're not going to buy anyway.
I'll leave you a card.
Hey,
when we're done.
Brandon.
That's why we ask budget. Like, that's really why I ask budget, because I want to know what it is. Because I can squeeze something in $15 a month. I mean, this is about to get super abbreviated if I'm sitting around for 15 bucks a month, and you better not be lying to me about a medicine, because we had a decline this stuff in my car head. But
Hey, BDunn, I was just gonna say real quick, most of these objections, honestly, like ever since I started doing that, hey, people take it out for one of three reasons and then asking the budget question and the amount of coverage question, I don't get any objections. I don't get any objections. Like you had most of them off, like 99% of them with those questions, with your question asking in step 7. Like you really shouldn't get a lot of objections, except maybe, hey, I can't afford anything right now, push it to next month. And in that case, I might not even submit the application. If they can't afford it next month, then they're probably not going to afford it or be able to afford it 2 months down the road. So I'm probably not even going to write them. I might try to cut the bill in half. Well, hey, are you going to be able to afford, $20 instead of 50? Man, I don't even know if I can do that next month. Okay, well, hey, here's my business card. Let me know when you can't afford it, when you do want to protect you and your family. But
yeah.
I don't really get a lot of objections.
I'll give y'all a great example on objection I got, I think maybe Wednesday or so, this week. So I'd been to this house a couple of times. I'd only got to her door. I talked to her at her door. She watches her 4 or 5 grandkids for her daughter, and never got in the house, right? It's my 3rd time going by. And she told me the time before Wednesday that she had Lincoln Heritage. She was paying about $107 a month. She had a couple of grandkids on her policy. She's very open, and she told me she had, I think it was 10,000. And I was like, listen, I can definitely help you out. How long have you had that? She thought she had it for a few years. I was like, well, you're eligible for discount, but did the whole thing. Couldn't get inside. Went back on Wednesday, went to the door. She was giving me the same objections, right? I'm just fighting through them. She probably told me no 6 times at the door. And she's not on Epiphany, saw this going down. Like, no, can't do it now, can't do it now. I'm like, listen, what's your hesitation? I showed you I can put you in a better situation. You're going to get some money back. I can add more of your grandkids, which is what you're asking me to do. What is your hesitation? Guys, I'm fighting the objection of she can't do it because she has grandkids she's watching. Then she says, I need my daughter to look at it. So now I need the daughter's okay. So I'm like, you just gave me her number. I'm halfway done with the application. She needs her daughter for the bank info. And she's like, I need my daughter. I want my daughter approval is what she's saying. I literally called her daughter. I was like, was she the one that just left? She said, yeah. So I called her. I told the daughter everything that we're doing. Hey, your mom sent this card in. I got assigned to come out here. I'm an insurance brokerage firm. A couple plans. She wants this. This is what we're going to do for her. Right now, she's paying X. I can get it for, $20 cheaper. Oh, we actually called them and she has a $300 loan on her account. But if I get her this policy that's cheaper, they're going to mail her back $600. She's like, what, mom? Let's do it. She's like, I'm on my way back right now. I'm like, I also need all your kids' names to put on as riders. So I was fighting the wrong objection. So guys, if these people are giving you objection of, I need to think about it, a really good way, or next month, a really good way to know if you're getting the right objection is, I need to think about it. Hey, Brandon, I understand you need to think about it. I never make like a spur of the moment decision. But just curious, other than needing to think about it, is there any other reason why you get that plan that said that would cover your burial and that's what you said you wanted to do? He's going to tell me if it's another objection. He's going to tell me what it is 9 out of 10 times. That's called isolating your objection. Next, hey, Brandon, I understand that you want to wait till next. I think you're these plans because they let you wait till next month. Other than wanting to next month, is there any other reason why you wouldn't want to get that protection for Animal today? It is under your budget. Is there any other reason? I'm isolating what their objection is, and if they dig in about what they just told you, it's real. So then you need to ask them, hey man, you don't have to put any money down today if I get people approved. In fact, what day of the month do you want it to start? That's what most people want. Match up with their Social Security, usually on the 1st or the 3rd. When do you get yours? On the 3rd? Do you think you can fit that in, that $49 a month on the 3rd of next month? What if I get you approved today and you don't have to pay it on next month? Is that what your concern is? Ask them, because a lot of times it is. Because these people ain't got no money on the 25th, man. They're damn 6th. Ask them that, hey man, you just don't want to pay today. Like, it's no big deal. Like, I don't even ask for money. I just get people approved. What's more? You don't need kids' socials. No, never.
Real quick, I was going to say that's one of my favorite things that I've ever heard Jordan Smith say, like isolating the objection. Is there any other reason other than needing, 2 weeks or, making a payment by the 3rd or whatever the day is or whatever it may be? Is there any other reason why you wouldn't want this coverage? And if they say no, then figure out a way around it. Use a carrier that'll let you push it out 45 days. If you can't push it out more than whatever, 30 or 34, do something, because they're giving you the green light.
I'll straight up ask you, hey, Carter, is this important to you? Is this something that you've been looking for?
100%.
Yeah.
And if they already have coverage, it's another reason.
Yeah.
So there's really only 2 things that you're going to run into: somebody with coverage and somebody without coverage at this point.
Yeah, and with coverage, if they're giving you like hold up, it's because they are unsure of the process. You have to make them, hey, look, Carter, man, this is an easy process. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna see if you're eligible for the upgrade. Anything you paid, you're not gonna lose. They're just gonna transfer it over, and they're gonna mail you back the difference that you've overpaid via cash value. Remember they said you got $250 in there? That's just what you've been overpaying, because this rate's a little bit cheaper than the one you got 3 years ago. Going to mail you back the difference because they were charging you too much. Guys, it's how you package it for these people. So I've been doing that so much. People are, I'm going to lose what I paid in. You're not losing what you paid in.
You don't lose anything.
I mean, shit, you're just renting this stuff. You stop paying for it, it's gone. It's like renting. So you're really just renting this stuff. So we're going to take this. You ain't got to pay no more deposit. You don't have to pay an application fee. We're going to just transfer it over to the new one. You're get a discount, more benefits via riders, and they're going to mail you the difference. So yeah, I mean, I use that shit all the time. That's no problem doing replacements.
I've been
All
telling
objections
people,
are, especially at the end of the process, at the end of the sales process and presentation, is uncertainty. Whether
Mhm.
you haven't connected enough, and Craig Harvey says it all the time, connecting is the most important step. People will buy stuff from you just because they like you. You know, that either uncertainty in you, uncertainty in the process, uncertainty in the product, the company, whatever it may be. And Jordan says it too, Volt, value, urgency,
That's
likability, and trust. You need
uncertainty.
all four to make a
That
sale.
is all actions are uncertainty. Ryder, do you want me to do that again? All right. So like, hey, Carl, hey man, this is where it's a very easy process. I know you're paying $107 a month for the Lincoln Heritage. Brandon said Columbian is going to let you have the same and add 6 more grandkid riders on there, lower your bill by $17 a month. You don't have to pay that alone. And if we transfer this over and get you upgraded, they're going to mail you back what you've overpaid. And it's going to be that $600 cash value check. You're not going to lose in anything you paid. It's going to be no lapse in coverage. We're going to transfer it over only if you're eligible. So let me see if you're eligible, and then I'll handle all this for you. It's real easy, real quick. What's your birthday again? That's it.
Boom.
Other objections, guys? If not, I'll go into like what I do after the sale. So get them approved. We're done. We're wrapped up. Brandon, what do you say to these people? What do you say once you get them approved, everything's done?
I give them a big high five and tell them congratulations. It's a very difficult plan to get approved for.
Make
Then
them
we
feel
go
good.
through. After that, we're going to do a replace. I mean, or is this with or without life insurance?
Either one, just like, yeah, you've already done the replacement. Everything's wrapped up. You already got signatures. Like, ready to get, so you're done. Like, what do you say?
Done deal. Yeah, put all that stuff in numbers. I get on the back of my card, go back over what they have. I write down the name of the company. I write down the coverage and premium, what day the payment's going to be on. Give them the card. I save my number in their phone. I save their number in my phone. I put the premium as to what they're paying on there. So when they call me, I know exactly what it is and who they're with. Uh,
That's
and
huge, guys. You always just call them right there. Let your phone number pop up. Hey, let me save you in here. BDunn Life Insurance. That's save people in my number in everyone's phone, and then I save their number to my phone, and I scroll down to notes, and I put in the company and how much they're paying. All right, because if I get a phone call and it says $20 and it's Saturday night at 9:30, that's going to voicemail. But if it says $150, more inclined to pick that one up, see what they want. So always save your number in their phone, their number, and then leave the card. Max does pop quiz. Hey, pop quiz. What carrier do you have now? How much are you paying? When's the payment come out? How do you feel? Well, if you feel good, I feel great, Miss Johnson. Tell them what's going to happen next. They used to mail all the policies to the agent. Now they mail them to the client. So I say, hey, after I've saved my number, ask them how they feel. I say, look, they're going to mail the policy to you. It's going to take about 3 weeks. Depending on the mail, could take a little bit longer. Your premium's going to come out here in a week and a half. Don't be alarmed if you don't have your premium or don't have your policy for that. It's going to take 3 weeks. If it shows up in a week and a half, you're a hero. All right. When you get that policy, if you have any, I'll come back out here, go over the same thing. It's going to be exactly what we talked about, but call me when you get it. All right. If you ever have any questions, I'm your agent for life. If you have any questions about life insurance, call me. If you ever more, call me. If you know anybody that needs some, I can help them out too. Company actually does $20 referral fees. They get approved, they pay. You get $20 through my company. You got a part-time job? You want one? There you go. $20 per person.
4
And
months
then
you got free life insurance.
And then I'm gone, and I do like Brandon. I have a sheets. I put every client's name, phone number, address, company, and then I send them thank you cards. And I have a little yes, no column that I type in yes, or it stays no until I say yes. I mail them out a handwritten thank you card to everybody's address. So I buy 100 of them for like $22. Stamps are 55 cents. So it's literally like 75, 80 cents per card if you handwrite it and then put it in the mail, guys. Craig Harvey, like I heard somebody say, hey man, I'm having a problem with chargebacks. Like, what should I do? First question out of his mouth was, do you send thank you cards? Nope. That's your problem. that keeps so many people when I go back out to their house back when I used to live. I got your card. That was so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm like, fuck, I forgot that got sent out. My wife does it. So guys, send everybody thank you cards. It'll keep your persistency a lot higher.
Sheets for sure. One other thing that I'll say too, if y'all haven't seen these, get some of them off of the NASB Inc. website. These are awesome. I don't really use them all the time, but they're really cool to use for the clients that like the bigger clients I use sometimes. They're kind of expensive, but they're awesome. You can write down all of the information, all of your information. Like I said, I don't really use these all the time. I usually just write everything down on the back of one of my business cards and then hand that to them. But these are awesome. I definitely recommend getting some of these as all like the resources that they can use. Free nicotine patches, the Well RX card, Zenny Optical, bunch of stuff on here too. So I don't use them, like I said, all the time, but they're great.
Guys, to
what
run the
I'm
back
gonna
burner on, not to interrupt, to run the back burner on that, guys, everybody should be giving those out. You know, after you show you the value sheet, I mean, leave them with your business card. Give them, you know, whoever the beneficiary is, give them an extra card. Hand this to the beneficiary. If anything happens, you know, have them call me. I'll take care of everything. But guys, if you have resources at your disposal and you're not tapping into them and utilizing them, and you're, you know, a private business owner, and this little trifold is a write-off, come on, guys. Let's use the things that we have.
I'm gonna next time I make cards, I have a front and a back. Basically has the NASB logo. The front has my logo, my information. The back just has the NASB logo and says like NASB affiliate and NASB. I'm gonna change the back and I'm gonna put like the carrier. I'm gonna premium, the date it's drafting, how much it is. I'm gonna make that next time I make business cards on the back of my normal card that I can just write in there and it's like legit. Just order 2 sets of business cards, one for when they get a policy and one for just giving stuff out, right? So I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I mean Pierce has that stuff right there. Is that a magnet or is
So
that
guys, when I write so this is off Vista Print. So everybody, if you don't have business cards, I have a business account. You send me your personal information. I have the template and everything. Okay. When we talk about resources and tapping into it, if you have a sharp looking business card, we're looking like we're doing business, right? Okay. When I write a thank you card, I send out this magnet. It has a picture of me, the name of my company, all my information, the insurance carrier, how much the premium is, when is it drafting. You think somebody's going to come in and replace my policy if they see this on the refrigerator?
it's gonna be hard.
That's something huge too. Definitely, if you guys don't have your face on your business card, I heat off a lot of like objections with that too. Hey, Miss Johnson, would a scammer have, you know, their name and their face and their personal cell phone number on their business card? Probably not. You know, here's my business card. If you have any questions on anything, give me a call.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, it's branding. Branding. Solidifying the sale. Thank you cards and branding. And that stuff, Pierce, how many do you buy at a time and how much does it cost?
On the magnets, I buy 50 at a time. I mean, they are expensive. I think it comes out to like I want to say 86 cents a magnet.
If you're making a sale, 86 cents plus a 70-cent, you're talking $1.50 to trade for potentially $500, $1,500. I'd
And
say that's a
guys,
pretty good.
the name of the game is the